Okay, hey everybody, I need to talk about Hajime Kashimo. That is one thing that I really need to talk about. Or one person. Well, Hajime, that guy from, Jujutsu Kaisen. I think he's a really underrated character. I mean, I know he has, like, a tiny fan base, but let's consider the what-ifs today. Okay, everybody. He was basically drawing the short straw on his technique. I mean, yeah, his technique allowed him to turn his body into literal cursed energy. That is, I feel like it could be pretty cool conceptually, but due to the fact that it's only one-time use and lacks the longevity of a technique such as Limitless or Cursed Spirit Manipulation, or even just something as simple as Boogie Woogie. I mean, he really drew the short straw when he got a single power-up suicide button. That's like getting a 1% damage upgrade in exchange for 99% of your health in a video game and fighting the final boss on 1 HP. Like, bro, I know he lost to Hikari and all that, but he would have beaten him if Hikari hadn't made a binding vow. Can we all agree on that? Like, I mean, I am not dissing on Hikari. Hikari is a majorly strong Jujutsu sorcerer, and I love his technique of just being able to gamble for immortality and different buffs to get him a higher chance of getting immortality. Okay. Since Hajime Kashimo was given a glass cannon build, basically, it's like putting all your stats into damage, but never actually upgrading your health. It's like a kind of Naoya, except non-misogynist and, I mean, just better in every way. Okay, now, here's what the what-if part of the video actually starts. Because I do believe that Hajime Kashimo's technique was the short straw, as I said previously. But what if he had a different technique? For example, just Charles G. Warstaff, like Charles Bernard. Anybody who's like anime only, you don't know who that is. But his technique, he basically is able to, as long as he hits somebody with his, basically he's got a pen, but it's like a giant staff and stuff. So, if he's able to hit somebody with that, then he's able to basically have precognition, which is seeing the future. But he's only able to see like a few moves into the future. But imagine combining that with Hajime Kashimo. Like, seriously, y'all. This is a real possibility that we do need to consider. So, Hajime Kashimo with G Warstaff would be an amazing, possibility. If Hajime Kashimo was to receive the technique G Warstaff instead of Mythical Beast Amber and combine it with his like Niue staff or something, I'm not sure how to pronounce that word, but his staff mixed with his unique kind of cursed energy, which correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that mixed with his combat IQ is the only reason he's able to recreate the sure hit effect of a domain without actually having a domain expansion canonically. I mean, would he have a domain? Or would he be able to create the same one? I mean, I'm not saying that we are altering his cursed energy, just his technique. So, if we give him that ability, and he has the G Warstaff technique, then that would basically just eliminate the need to actually predict their movements. His instincts were were purely reacting to another person's fighting instincts and their movements. So, if he had precognition, his fighting skills would up exponentially, and due to that, his technique, G-War Staff, which was the reason that his combat IQ and skills would skyrocket, would be more useful for him than Mythical Beast Amber. Because as I said, Glass Cannon, not a good thing to do unless you've got long range and can use it multiple times. But seriously, Hana, she's a good character for a Glass Cannon build. Noting that she's not going to die after that cannon fires. But for someone like Hajime Kashimo, I feel like he really drew the short straw. I'm saying that for the third time. I'm just rambling on at this point. But since that he drew that, we're reconsidering it. I do believe that because of his sure hit effect outside of domains, without having a domain canonically, he would be able to stand on the same levels as some of the heavy hitters in here, like Sukuna and Gojo. He wouldn't necessarily be able to beat them, but he'd last longer in a fight than he did in canonically. We all remember the waffle incident. And I'm just saying, did he seriously have to get cut short that quickly? He lasted like 14 panels. I mean, not even that. Other than his fight against Hikari, which I thought was peak. Okay. Back on topic. If he had this technique, would he be able to apply it to that sure hit effect? So would he technically have to hit them first for his precognition to work, and then start using the sure hit effect using his unique use of cursed energy application? And I think that is just such a cool concept. Like, I personally think he's one of the smartest characters when it comes to combat IQ, because he has the best use of cursed energy application without using his cursed technique. There are other notable mentions, such as Yuta Okotsu, but he's using his technique and kinda leans on Rika. Like, I'm just saying, he has the cursed energy to do a lot, but his sword broke, he had to summon Rika, although I do think he could stand his own against Yuji Itadori in a fist fight, and would keep up for a bit, if not dominating using his cursed energy directly. But instead he decided to start with all the bum allegations and summon Rika to hold Yuji still. Okay, moving away from bum allegations. Kashimo. Using this technique, I feel like he'd get a great deal of value out of it, much more than Charles Bernard would. I realize that Charles Bernard, he's able to bite more. Well, he's able to take a bite. He bit off more than he could chew, and he was able to handle it, for the most part, using that technique, which gave him precognition. I mean, I realize that if somebody had known about his technique already, it could have been rendered useless as long as it didn't really hit him, like hit anybody. But using Hajime Kashimo, that's not really gonna do much due to his unique cursed energy and stuff like that. I might just be LARPing at this point because I haven't read all too much of the manga, but I have read a little bit. Okay, so since his sure hit effect takes a few hits, I do believe that hitting the opponent once with the G-War Staff technique, allowing him to have precognition over their future movements, would be amazing for him, because he would be able to predict their next movements, see when their guard drops, or where their weak spots in their guard would be and strike those before they even open up, which, I mean, that could cause complications for both sides of the party, but it's better than having a suicide button that gives you a tiny little damage buff. Don't you agree? Anyways, when I'm thinking about this, I would like to put Hajime Kashimo up in the top 10, but at least in combat IQ he is, but there's just so many people that we've seen off-screen. Like Druve, he took over an entire archipelago and got one-shot by a teenager. A bum teenager by most of the community standards. Although he is some people's goat, I'm not going to slander him all that much. But he does lean on Rika a lot. Okay. Moving on. Moving back to the topic. Hajime Kashimo, I do think that he could stand on equal grounds with some of the higher special grade ranked sorcerers. Maybe on, like, similar grounds with Yuta and Rika, of course. Or he could stand on the same grounds as Ryu, Uro. Those are both really strong special grades, in my opinion. Oh, Uro's Thin Icebreaker is just such a cool concept. I haven't dove too deep into that, but I will in a future video. Let me think for a second. Hajime Kashimo, him using the G-War Staff ability would give him the value that he needs to stand on these grounds with the higher tier special grade sorcerers. But do I think he deserves the special grade rank? The definition of a special grade by Kenjaku is someone who can overthrow a country by themselves. So, I would particularly note that, say, Suguru Geto, at the beginning of the Hidden Inventory arc, he was a grade 1 sorcerer, if I'm not mistaken, right? But then, due to the higher up scaling his ability, he can have infinite amounts of curses. So, they put him in special grade because, as a YouTuber I don't know the name of has previously mentioned on my For You page, special grade is more about scalability than actual combat ability in the current time. Like, do I think Yuki Tsukumo could take over a country? No, not at all. Absolutely not. Do I think Toto could? No. I really don't. I mean, plot armor maybe? But Yuki, she could definitely destroy the world just by doing the maximum output thing. The Star Rage maximum output when she turns into a flipping black hole kamikaze. Which is basically the same use of Mythical Beast Amber. I hate that technique. It's just like such a waste of potential. If you could use reverse curse technique to recover from that and use it multiple times, I swear that technique would be so good. But you are reverting your body to cursed energy. You are not physically harming yourself. You're just erasing your body and making it cursed energy. So you can't use reverse curse technique, which I think is bullcrap. But as I said, special grades are all about scalability. And I wouldn't really classify Kenjaku's definition as, like, seriousness. I would more consider it an organized military force. Like an actual army or government. Not just a country, because whatever that guy said, he said that a country is like... Okay, let's imagine a country. What's the smallest country you can think of? I mean, there's a town with one person in it, so there could be a country with like 100. Bro. I'm just saying, it's all about scalability. and the definition is a bit more metaphorical than literal, as a few YouTubers have already stated. But when I'm thinking of Hajime Kashimo, I'm thinking of his specific sure hit effect outside of domains. Tell me how he did that. His unique cursed energy application and his unique kind of cursed energy. That's just amazing. Combine that with precognition and he gets his battle IQ amplified by like 50. This is putting him on par with levels of like Todo, Ryu, Yuki, all of them. And then, okay, this is just me rambling at this point. But, is it Glaze if I think that this what if universe could actually, like, put him in the top 10 in the verse? Like, I know Sukuna. Okay, this is gonna spark a debate in my comment section if there's any comments. But Sukuna did kinda need Maharaga to beat him in the fight. I mean, full strength Sukuna, he's really strong in that Heian era form, and he could beat Gojo in that Heian era form. But really, without Maharaga, he wouldn't have the world cutting slash that turned Gojo into Leg Joe. This is just me rambling at this point, so let's imagine Sukuna, 20 finger, in Yuji's body. He possesses his actual abilities, not Megami's. Megami is an infinite potential scaler for some reason. I mean, his 10 shadows is just so cool. But I mean, seriously, can we cap this potential scaling? I would put Sukuna number 1 most powerful currently, like in the verse that I'm thinking of. Then Gojo. I know that they're on par with each other, and Gojo has the infinity. Sukuna just has no way to get past infinity without Maharaga's world-cutting slash blueprint. So, let's just imagine that he was using domain amplification. We saw Jogo and Hanami, for God's sakes, get through infinity with domain amplification. Am I the only one who thinks Hanami is like the weakest special grade? Name a weaker special grade. Please. Like, seriously. But that does remove most of Sukuna's key abilities, because I believe that you can't use your innate technique during domain amplification. And that's why Jogo had to target the civilians instead of Gojo when he was trying to distract Gojo from actually killing Hanmi with Infinity when he was crushing him against the wall. And Jogo just burned somebody because Jogo really couldn't do too much, and a single hit with domain amplification isn't going to catch Gojo on fire because you can't use your innate technique while using it. Now, simple domain, I believe that's a different story. But domain amplification, I believe you cannot use your innate curse technique during. So, if Gojo classifies that Sukuna can use, Sukuna is kind of the binding vow merchant, so what if he just, sacrificed his domain for the next, for the entire fight? In return, he can pass through Gojo's infinity, but only with dismantle and cleave. That removes Fuga and domain expansion from his kit. I mean, it's a really good possibility, but he would also have cleave and dismantle. It's shown that Gojo has amazing RCT, but is it on the level that he could beat Sukuna? I know this is a debuff Sukuna, but true Heian era form, with only cleave and dismantle. Plus all his forearms, extra chance, all that bull crap that the narrator glazes Sukuna for. Plus we got Gege over here helping Sukuna in the fight. Swear Sukuna can make any binding vow. Just saying. Although, I saw some comments on another video. What you talking about? Seriously, open domains are not a binding vow. It is literally stated by the author that an open domain is a divine feat. Like trying to paint a painting on air without a canvas. Like, seriously, y'all. Step it up a little bit. Okay. Now that I am actually, like, completely derailed of the video, and spent, like, maybe 5 minutes in total talking about Kashimo, which was supposed to be what this video's about, I think that Kashimo would actually just benefit from having any other curse technique. Other than, Mythical Beast Amber. And I know y'all are gonna say some things. Like, oh, what if he had, what's that guy with he can create sugar out of his body but gets hypoglycemia? Or the guy that gets the powers of whatever he's wearing. And then the two people who can turn their hair into, like, it's the lady, I forgot her name because she's just a side character, and then it's her husband, or boyfriend, or whatever, that can turn his head into a helicopter using his hair. And he thought he was, like, crap sweet because he thought Yuji broke his hand when he punched him in the helicopter head. Literally, no, crap was not that good for him. He got kicked in the nuts and packed up right after that. But say, he got literally any curse technique other than those. He'd be cooking. Can you imagine Kashimo with Shrine? Or the 10 Shadows? I mean, I don't really consider him with the 10 Shadows, because the 10 Shadows is more of a... Okay, I know you are gonna say that I'm wrong because some of you have read Modulo, but... Tsurugi, she uses 10 Shadows in a close combat kind of way, but I really don't think that that's using it to its full potential. I know potential infinite scales for the 10 Shadows, as I was talking about earlier in the video. I'm probably like a contrarian or just like an idiot here. Y'all can tell me which in the comments, if anybody actually watched this video. But anyways, thanks for watching, if you did. Peace.